Now, let us look at the questions one by one. So if you look at the question number one is about Human Development Index and the inequality adjusted Human Development Index. So basically, Human Development Index has one more dimension to it where we adjust it for inequality. So in the beginning, we need to talk about it, that Human Development Index is trying to measure this, and it tries to measure the perspective of the human consumption, the basic abilities, etc. And then we have recently added multiple dimensions to it. For example, the gender perspective, the inequality perspective, etc. So we calculate the Human Development Index as well as the inequality adjusted Human Development Index, where we see how much the overall living standard is affected by the inequality in the country. So for some countries, there is hardly any difference between Human Development Index and inequality adjusted Human Development Index. For example, when you see countries like Canada, for example, when you see countries like Norway, etc., there is not much of a difference. So for that matter, their Human Development Index would be 0.98 or 97, whereas their inequality adjusted Human Development Index will also be 0.93, 0.92. So there is hardly any difference there. Meanwhile, in the beginning, we talk about it, that Human Development Index is a measure that has been going on for almost last 30 to 33 years, and it has become a very important international report and measure today to analyze the performance of a country regarding the development. Recently, when we included the inequality adjusted HDI, it is considered as a welcome move, because the traditional HDI was not able to show how inequality affects the overall development of the people. For example, when we talk about India, India's development score today is close to 0.69 or 0.68, let's say. Okay. Meanwhile, when we adjust it for inequality, then India's score become immediately 0.47. So 0.68 and 0.47. If you see, there is a difference of 30% in the score, means our score decreases by 30%. So anyways, the perspective of today's discussion is not to get too much into the content, but rather to discuss the approach, that how these questions could have been tackled. So I'll keep it rather short here. So the idea is you start with the perspective of what is HDI, then how IHDI has been a welcome change, what it tries to measure. So HDI takes the average performance on literacy rate, average school dropout rate. But when we see how bad it can be in certain regions, how bad it can be for a particular section of population, how bad is it among women, among different other groups, then we find things are even worse than what they look like. Okay, so that is what this inequality adjusted perspective show. Now, when we talk about with reference to India, you have to talk about India's score and how it is affected when we adjust for inequality. India's rank is 130 as per the Human Development Index, and it is 120 when we look at it from inequality adjusted Human Development Index. But still, India's score is so badly affected that we have to see that there is a significant impact of inequality. Our ranking might improve because other countries, many of the countries which are in middle of the table, are affected even worse. So that's why our rank is improving, but that doesn't mean that India is doing something good regarding inequality, and that's why our rank is better there. Some of the other countries which are otherwise ahead of us in human development are doing worse in inequality. For example, South Africa. Okay, India's score decreases by 30%, but when you look at South Africa, its score, for example, decreases by 35%. Nonetheless, you are not expected to know that much, neither a student is expected to remember that much data. So even if you remember just the India's rank, that is good enough. No need for you to talk about South Africa, etc. here. Okay. Then you have to talk about that why IHDI is considered as a better indicator of inclusive growth. So here you first have to talk about that inclusive growth is a perspective which looks into the dimension of that no big section of population or a region of the country is excluded from the benefits. So if there is a growth in the economy, all people from all the areas, from all the ethnicities, from all the genders or from both the genders and various other perspective, they should not have too much difference in their development levels. And if those development levels vary a lot as per region, as per groups, then there is problem regarding inclusive growth. That means while country as a whole might be progressing, certain groups are not progressing in the country, are not able to progress. So that is a big problem. So inclusive growth is an important and better indicator, and that's why IHDI can be considered as a good measure, maybe a better measure than HDI. So that's how you need to talk about it.